Thank you very much. I'd like to ask a question about systems and institution building. Is there something we seem to be missing when it comes to perfecting systems and strengthening our institutions? Is it that we fail to build upon past efforts or to learn lessons from the past? A typical case is self-operations in the communities and how effective it was in managing humanitarian relief, at least in getting it out to people. The communities were more holistic, organized, and structured. When it came to security during the Octopus operation, there was those structures that were very, very effective in providing neighborhood watch and all of that. It provided geographical demarcation of what a neighborhood is and what a community is structurally, policy-wise. And because of the effective way in which ration coupons were delivered, it was possible to have meal delivery. But after the crisis, we seem to have forgotten about the whole system, and not much effort or not much has been said about how we can improve upon it. Yesterday we were speaking of decentralization. I think that's another form of effective decentralization as far as empowering communities are concerned. What's your take? What do you think is wrong with our national psyche? Are we not a people, because of the way the state was organized, we haven't been people-centered, are we not conscious of efforts made by prior institutions or our predecessors? Just what is wrong? I think we have a fundamental problem there.
Commissioner, my take on this issue is that there's got to be something in our culture, in our value system, that finds systems repugnant. Either it's cultural, but there's something that finds system repugnant, and I'm trying to find it. Let me share with you some of the things I've come up with. And I don't think they answer the question, but at least I'm working with those findings. We don't believe in fairness. We seem not to believe in fairness. It's fair only when it satisfies me and not when it satisfies you. Now, is that cultural? When we say that, we have to be careful how we say this. Otherwise, culturally, we condemn ourselves for something that we have no control over. Our cultural value system does not recognize fairness. And because of this, we don't like systems. A system is supposed to work for anybody that qualifies, that meets the criteria set for that system to respond. We are a 161-year-old democracy. Why is it that our public payroll system does not have a controlling code for every Tom, Dick, and Harris? A number that is your number that can never be mine. How long does it take before we can use some tool like that? And we have to always reflect as to what happens in the great United States, because that's the play we try to copy. 578-783422. 578-78-3422. What is that number? You want to take a guess?
Your social security number.
That is my social security number in the United States. I've been away from the States for more than 20 years. That number is my number. Nobody else in the whole world, in America, from now until the end of time, will get that number. 578-78-3422. Is that Blamo Nelson? Who the hell is, excuse my language. Yeah, who is he? We're not here for that. Why can't we introduce some kind of blind identity system? That's what I did during the self program. Everybody was a number. So if you're my sister, you're my uncle, you're my cousin, I don't care. What's your house number? And if this is your house number, it's in the system. Don't worry about it. My job is to make sure that your house number is in the system. Once it's in the system, and the number of persons in your house is calculated, and it's 10, you will get what all houses with 10 persons will get. Doesn't matter whether you're my uncle, you're my wife, you got a house number with 10 persons, you will get the same thing as Jerome Verrier house that got 10 persons. System. And until we can put a system in place coupled with decentralization, and you will notice you cannot put a system in place until you decentralize, because the system takes into account the smallest element of the structure. That's what a system is. A lot of little elements working together to achieve a collective goal. That's a system. If you take away any part of that system, it will exhibit the tendencies of the entire system. But if you take a part away, the system will start to vibrate. That's a system. No wonder we don't have systems in Liberia, because we're not worried about the minute element. Everything is at the top. It was just the other day we had the budget structure in a way that we can code the budget lines. As soon as we slip into system mode, it means we got to go to the bottom of the nation and account for the town. I tell you something. When you have a hand pump, where are you going to carry this hand pump? You are carrying the hand pump to a town. Do you know where the town is? If you don't know where the town is, then how can you carry a hand pump there? The government of Liberia cannot deliver payroll checks to teachers in the schools. Why? You are an employer. This is government. And the government cannot deliver a paycheck to a teacher in a classroom in Niplepo. So who needs a government like that? Do you understand why the people at Niplepo got to resist this Monrovia-based government? That's what the fight is about. The people of Niplepo, Grand Crew County, want to be counted. And if the government of Liberia cannot account for them, then the government is in trouble. Systems. The Elections Commission did something here that many people have not really taken note of. They register everybody that should have been registered. 1.something million. It's never been done before in the history of the country. They did that in 2 months. 205. In 2 months, 1.4 million were given photo ID. This government here cannot do it. Isn't that serious people there? This government cannot deliver a paycheck. So we move the paychecks into the county headquarters. We're making progress now. Now let me just say this. Be patient. We'll get there. Right now the government is not able to do it, so let's do it slowly. All right, okay. Given my mode I'm in now. If that was the old days, I'd be yelling. But today, I understand. So can we move the check to the county seat? Yes. To move the check to the county seat is war. It's a fight. But this government is trying. moving the check to the county seat. Every time the check go into the county seat, all the teachers and health workers and everybody got to come to the county seat. What happened with the schools? They closed. Source of conflict: the student that's supposed to be taught for 21 days in a month are now being taught for 5 days. You're looking for a source of conflict? At the end of the year, instead of having 10 months of real schooling, they have only 2 months of real schooling. And then you graduate them. And you get a certificate. Where they go with that kind of paper? Nowhere. They can't write a sentence because the teacher was running behind the paycheck. So the government, let's think about system. Take the check to the place. To do that means you got to first account for all the schools and where they are. So we call the Minister of Education. Mr. Minister, can you give us a list of all schools in Liberia? Yes, we can do that. Surprisingly, the Ministry of Education today has a directory of all the schools. Name of school, the town in which the school is located, the name of the principal. We're making progress. So now we got a school name. Can we get a check there? No, it's not possible. Not right now. Okay. Last week, I had a meeting with the Ministry of Finance people. The Deputy Minister for Expenditure came for the hearing. And I'm saying this so that we'll know that progress is being made. It's not as fast, but it's being made. So when the gentleman came, I think Kamara, I was one of those asking, you are going to be Deputy Minister for Expenditure, responsible for check disbursement, yes. Promise me that when you become Deputy Minister, that the checks will be taken to the people in their schools. Senator, it's a promise. But then you are confirmed. That was my attitude. He has been confirmed. Last week, I went to him. And the conversation we had was, Senator, I told him that I was speaking more for Grand Crew than the whole country. So, can you give us a list of all the communities in Grand Crew so that we can go into our computer system and link the employees to the community, and then we'll take the check to the community? Progress, system. So to answer your question, Commissioner, why don't we go into system? Culturally, we don't believe in system. But we don't have a church now. That culture has to change.